The insect howl of the cicadas hits fever pitch in the steaming heat of the afternoon. Trees line the road on either side, dense enough to create a semi-permanent twilight a few yards in. Beyond that, the eyeline is too crowded to make anything out. It's the kind of heat that clings like a damp paper towel. The inside of the car is sweltering, even with the windows down, and the AC is busted, so the air filtering out from the dashboard vents is lukewarm and stuffy. The reek of old cigarettes and bad weed. A miniature of the Virgin Mary hanging from the rear view. Father, take this cup from me. No response. The driver should have changed the air filters when she had the chance, 60 miles back in Savannah. Flicking on her turn signal, she takes the exit, scanning the trees. An insect splatters across the windshield, large enough to make out a set of wings and a dark carapace. Intact, maybe she could name it. Phylum, order, genus. But the minute details are gone, the complex patterns unrecognizable. It might as well be bird shit. Maybe somewhere there's a hive or a nest feeling the shattered connection, like a phone line going down, or the lights in a house down the block shutting off all at once. The shriek of the cicadas is electric, mechanical. It pulses in time. She hums a pitch, tentatively at first, rising and falling a little to find the note. Predator satiation. Cicadas emerge in prime-numbered years, in hordes large enough to build a wall of bodies. Birds, raccoons, squirrels, snakes eat their fill, and still more cicadas escape. The driver tunes the radio to a dead channel, cranking the static, humming a little louder as she searches for the midpoint between the tones. With her voice, the notes become a harsh, irrational chord, something other. The pain in her abdomen flares up and she grimaces. She prays to some rattling, chattering god as her fingers shuffle through first the glove compartment, then the center console, lighter clutched in her other hand on the steering wheel. Damn, no cigarettes. Up ahead, a gas station marquee advertises $2.98 unleaded. A bell dings as she pulls up to the pump. She's never seen a station this old. There's no self-service, and she's starting to crank the gear into reverse when an elderly man in coveralls leans over the side of the door.
You all right, man?
He looks genuinely concerned, but she doesn't like the way his eyes wander over her body. She manages a nod, the pain starting up again, and says,
Happy spirits.
Then,
The light flares. You'll have to go inside for those now.
she's small, looks young for her age, and again his eyes rove up and down, peering past her thin limbs to her oversized breasts. She nods again, unbuckling her seatbelt as the bell dings overhead, and the attendant moves on to the next car. Inside, the cashier wishes the driver a happy birthday after looking at her license. The woman says with a whistle.
You're blessed with a young face.
The driver's feeling bloated, impatient. Before she swallowed it all down, her therapist told her. She doesn't remember what her therapist told her. She swallowed the memories down deep enough to dissolve. All that remains from that year, age 13, when the something came scraping and crawling up from inside of her, is the time she prodded at a spider's web with a blade of grass. She marveled at the 8 black pupils, clear and smooth as river rocks. Then, using her older brother's lighter, she torched the web, watching the creature's legs crumple like burnt paper. The cashier gives the driver one last "are you sure" glance before handing her the pack, eyes lingering again on her body. She's driving again. She's not sure why she stole the car. Already, she barely remembers the baking asphalt of the parking lot, glittering shells of cars and trucks stretching out into the distance. That was 2 days ago, a strip mall in a suburb of Louisville. Her own car, or her ex-husband's, would have worked fine, but she likes the sense of anonymity this new shell gives her. Then again, her own thinking is foreign to her. Wind howls through the open windows. Something deep inside seizes as she lights the first cigarette. The seat, already soaked with sweat, dampens further, and she compresses the gas pedal, picking up speed. Around her, the insect chatter intensifies. The trees gnash their teeth. Again, she begins to hum in tune. Music, like insect life, is mathematical, clean. There's a logic of steps and subdivided rhythms, a tidy marching pulse that keeps things regimented and clear. Sometime in her blank year, she joined a church choir, doctor's orders, and they tell her that as long as the group was singing, she was okay, was normal again. The problems always started when the music stopped. The humming of the cicadas shifts. Veering to the left, she cuts onto a dirt road, kicking dust into the air. She glances down at the empty space on the dashboard where her phone should be. The car blazes along, forest understory growing thicker. She smears sweat across her forehead, the back of her arm. Nature follows a mathematical order as well. Sunflowers seed according to the Fibonacci sequence. The large eat the small and breed without remorse. Cicadas reappear every 13 or 17 years, always prime numbers. Forests burn and regrow in consistent mathematical stages. Her insides lurch again, fluid pooling under the gas pedal. The screeching of the trees pulls to the right, and she turns off the road, crashing through the undergrowth, leaves and branches whipping against the windshield as the brakes squeal. She coasts a few yards, then kills the engine. She lights another spirit. Her feet are swollen, and her progress is slow. One hand resting on her distended stomach, the other alternately bringing the cigarette to her lips and cradling the small of her back. She almost got rid of it 9 months ago, when an ant trail of semen fought its way to her eggs. She knew something was wrong, no matter what the doctors and her now ex-husband said. Felt it from the beginning, heard it calling in a symphony of discordant tones. A colony. Eventually, it was too late. She stumbles against the trunk of a tree, bark scraping her back as she slides down, legs splayed. Push. Push. Staring up through the branches, she watches the breeze run through the sun-dappled leaves. The cicadas are scream-singing in tune. It's beautiful. Tiny shelled bodies rain down. They pile like snowdrifts on the forest floor. Birds sweep through the branches as she pushes, breath coming in hard stops and starts, hair falling down into her face. Animals creep close, gorging themselves on the sudden feast. She feels tiny insect legs pricking at her skin as they move across her neck, arms, legs. Her whole body jerks with the force of another contraction. Her insides clench like a fist. A nativity scene forms. Women with 6 limbs and insect heads, and for the first time now she screams, surrounded by dark, glistening eyes, a wave of carapace coating the woods. The world is awash with tiny movements, subtly refracted light. She gives up, can't push anymore. The insect women chatter encouragement. Push. Trembling, parched, she looks down to see what lies between her legs. She will love it, love them, she knows. She leaves the umbilical attached.